Hey there, welcome back to the Smell of Logic channel. I am Ramona, and today's little Reddit stories is what's something considered to be dumb, but actually is a sign of intelligence. This is going to be very provocative, I suppose, or at least a little provocative, and very subjective, so keep that in mind as you're listening. And here we go. Uncertainty. Not that uncertainty equals intelligence, but it's usually a sign of nuance, and most things aren't black and white. Everyone knows that, but a lot of people are incapable of judging opposing thoughts at the same time. Average or stupid people probably can't understand real nuance. Maybe it's not true, but it seems that way. Slightly judgy, but okay. It's called decision paralysis. Really common in people with ADHD, especially if there is more than one or two options. But it happens to smart people too. They get so locked up trying to weigh the pros and cons that they miss the opportunity to actually make a choice. Outside of ADHD, the less intelligent people are, the less likely it is to be an issue for good or bad. Edit. I did not mean to imply that people with ADHD weren't or couldn't be intelligent. The two groups are in no way mutually exclusive. I meant to say that while especially common in people with ADHD of all intelligent levels, decision paralysis happens to people who are intelligent as well, regardless of whether or not they have ADHD. To add to this, because they don't consider the nuance, they could seem more confident. Silence. Craftsmanship. Having worked in sales for 30 years, I can remember being taught that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that proportion, for when you are speaking, you are learning something new. I also loved the saying, better to keep your mouth shut and be not a fool than to open it and confirm the fact. Or to be rolled up, I think is actually. Smiling and walking away when you are insulted. And its reply was, it's astounding that so many people think that digging in your heels and yelling like an animal is somehow the correct or noble response, as though blowing it off entirely isn't the biggest flex possible. Explosion is reaction. Choice is domination. Walking away from an argument. I guess it's pretty much the same thing. Crying. Asking questions at every age and at every stage in life. That's very true. You should always be learning something. Piggybacking off the poster that mentioned nuance, holding two seemingly contradictory ideas that work together. For example, structure and creativity. A clear structure, such as a plot outline or musical framework, can enhance creativity. Asking questions when you don't know the answer to something. Changing your mind with more info, flip-flopping. I don't think it's flip-flopping. I think it's if you come to a conclusion, you find more information. It's good to change your opinion as long as it's not, you're backtracking or anything. That didn't make sense. I'm moving on. Using profanity. Sometimes being ignorant of current events can be more peaceful to the mind than being aware of all the problems going on in the world. Enjoying doing nerdy things and sometimes getting immersed in subjects. My grandson does this more often every year, and it surprises me quite a bit with things he's interested in. He also has an interest in animals, including wild ones. I'll hear him talking to them, naming bugs and lizards and things that are hanging around. We were at a Sam's Club and he was unloading groceries. A blackbird flew up to the shopping cart and landed on the handle and stared him in the eyes. I believe he has a connection with animals. Buying something on offer, be it food or clothing, etc. Just because it's on offer, you can have 2 or 3, but I only want 1, or get 2. But no, I just want 1. But you will save money. Yes, well, buying 1, I'll save even more. Asking obvious questions. Asking questions and admitting when you don't know something. Not having all the answers. People who think they have all the answers typically don't have the right answers. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of the asking questions, that kind of thing, which, again, is very important. You need to educate yourself, stay educated, stay informed, and be willing to learn, be willing to change your opinion if new information comes up. That's correct. Let's rephrase this. It's got to be correct information. Swearing and loving weed. Being willing to change your mind based on new information. Again, there's a lot of that. Layered puns. Not being impressed at all by social media and not participating in it. I don't think it's necessarily smart. I think it's probably more mentally healthy. Drinking a hot beverage on a hot day. I know this goes against the idea of cooling down, but it does in fact often make it easier to deal with the hot outside temps. I've tried it a few times and felt good. Maybe it's a psychological thing, I'm not sure. Everyone can at least give it a try. I do that with coffee. I drink coffee no matter what the weather is. Oh my God. Agreeing with an argumentative idiot. Keeping your mouth shut. Empathy. Telling people you don't know an answer or opinion when you don't know enough about a subject to definitely have one. Mispronouncing words. Far more often than not, it means you learned it by reading. Epitome is the best example for myself. I'm not saying I'm smart, just that I learned the word from reading. I still pronounce it like epi, like pen, tome, or tome, like a book, in my head. But it is more of a joke now. Being quiet. People automatically assume if you aren't speaking, you must be unable to contribute to the conversation. A lot of times, you just don't have anything meaningful to say because it has already been said, or you don't know enough to have an opinion and recognize that. Other times, you are listening to see what points other people are making before you inject your own thoughts on the matter. Goes hand in hand with not having an opinion. I think, for my part, it's also, if you hear their opinion and you know you're going to disagree with it, why start an argument? Because I'll argue a lot. But if you can't match it, and if your opinion can't be backed up with facts, I just simply will not engage. So a lot of people think I'm either stuck up or too quiet or unintelligent. And I may be unintelligent. I'm willing to admit that entirely. But I think that goes along with a lot of what we're hearing on this. Taking longer to figure something out, wanting to do it right, or wanting to know the logistics. Making mistakes, especially when you're starting a hobby or a skill. Many people are too afraid of making mistakes, so they stay in their lane and don't improve. Maybe don't even learn the skill they wanted to learn so badly. We have to push ourselves to make these mistakes, to learn from it and get past the stage on to the next one. Living below your means, that's a big one. Honestly, I feel like the odd one out here, but when I wait for the green man at a crossing, I even get funny looks from drivers for not going. I think that means green light. But when the man is still on red, even on green, I still teach my kids to check both ways because of idiot drivers. I think there's intelligence in waiting. You're not wrong. Listening. And here we go. Walking away from an argument, not because you have nothing to say, but because you know it won't get you anywhere. That's exactly what I was trying to say. They just said it much more eloquently and plainly than I did. Funny people that laugh at everything. Being quiet. When you confidently say, I do not know, that's a great question, and I'm happy to get back to you on that. Taking time to think before speaking. Again, there's a lot of that wrong. Talking to yourself. People think it's weird, but it actually helps with focus, problem solving, and thinking things through. A total sign of a sharp mind. Having an unconventional appearance. Intelligence is linked to experimentation and being willing to ignore social norms. That means people aren't dumb just because they dye their hair or do fun things with their makeup. Bad handwriting. Every super smart person I know has bad handwriting. I don't know if it's because I'm a female, but I was always made fun of and weirdly looked down on for it. Not being the loudest in the room, just people watch. Sarcasm. Self-deprecation. Speaking slowly. Acknowledging when you don't know something. Cursing and swearing. There's a lot of that on here too. The ability to say, I don't know. So I'm getting a theme here, just a little bit. Not canceling people who have different views or opinions on certain issues, policies, etc. Being able to listen to people who disagree with you and your beliefs and not immediately cancel them shows a certain degree of intelligence. An idiot admires complexity. A genius admires simplicity. not responding to all work emails. Admitting you don't know something. Again, lots and lots of that. Empathy, a couple more of those. Listening to me and doing what I say. Well, there's the other end of it, I guess. Doubt. Not having an opinion on certain topics. They go on to say, when one knows nothing about the topic, but someone wants their opinion, why would you take a guess? Well, I mean, but not having an opinion. Some topics just don't interest you, and they're not interesting, not important enough for you to really have a solid opinion. Be willing to. If I don't know something, I'm willing to listen to as many sides as it takes, and then maybe I'll make up my mind. But a lot of times, like now, I really don't care with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, ignoring aggressive questions, working out a lot. Okay, anything that comes after. Watch this. Cutting people off when they continue to disrespect your boundaries. I don't care if they're family. I value the peace that I now have and don't want to deal with their dramas. Kindness through suffering. Being kind every day to strangers, to rude people who bother, and cops and bosses and in-laws, to the people who deserve it the least. Through all of my own suffering, remaining kind is not a weakness, nor am I dumb. I am not a doormat. I'll F you up, but I'm nice. Kindness, temperance, being acutely aware of people, but still making space will be kind for them. I think that's a good place to end it. That's a more hopeful note than we're probably going to find, because there's still a lot of the same things we've already covered. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed listening to this. A little thought-provoking, a little entertaining, possibly. Anyway, go check out another video. There's plenty here on the channel. Thanks for listening and watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.